Hey Matt, I felt like making a video to show you, like, because I don't think you understand what PHP is per se. I mean, yeah, front end versus back end. Yeah, as I'm saying that, my cat's crawling around, making noises, and I'm a little out of it. I finally got a full night's rest, so I feel less loopy, but I am groggy, and I did wake up from a nightmare, so it's like, blah. Okay, moving on. Sorry. So this box is going to represent you, the client, browse. This is the browser, okay? Server on the right bottom here. And so when you start, let's do step one. Browser sends request for web page. Yeah, we'll just do the sloppily. Do I have a line drawn tool? I rarely. This is the program I use since Photoshop isn't free anymore, and I can't find my damn CD with the older version on it. That's why I haven't done much of anything lately because I can't even make backgrounds and animation and graphics for random projects. But okay, let's I don't know, let's try that. No, that'll work. Hold on. All right, so yeah, you send the request from the browser to the server. Now, where's typing? So step one, server gets the request. Seeing, maybe I should have tried that. I didn't think this all out either, but with the steps. That's step one. So the packet comes into the server, it sees what port it's on, it knows that that port's assigned to a particular application, and oh, is that 80s port HTTP or was that 443 for secure? But it sees it's that port. That's how it knows something particular is about to happen. So the server, the operating system that is, then sends it over to Apache because Apache is assigned for that, responsibility of whatever comes in on that port. Apache is the web hosting program. I don't even. I mean, there's got to be other programs out there, but that Apache's been around since I was in high school. That's what a nerd friend back in high school ran his on, but he ran it on Windows. I'm doing it on Linux. So that's step one. To see that. Step two, Apache then sees it is a PHP file. And within your configuration and all that, because it could be other file types, or obviously CGI or whatever, it sees that it has another program. You set it up so that it associates that file type with said program. In this case, it sends it over to PHP. I can't type. The PHP program, basically. Oh, I guess that's not the case. That wouldn't exist in the Linux, but yeah, it sends it over to your PHP program. Like they call that a phaser program or whatever. So then that program processes all your PHP code, and then the outcome is what's going to be on that file afterwards. So let's say I did. Let's see. I'm trying to think how I want to like demo some PHP for you. So you get your brackets like this, and then you close the PHP tag like that, and then let's say you do echo whatever. I don't think it echo. Yeah, I don't think it's equal. I don't know. It's been a minute. Let's just do it like this because I don't remember. Obviously, your delimiter here. I can't remember if I have to put it equal here. There's other echo type commands too. I'm not gonna get into that. That's not the topic. Okay, so you got this. And then, so then the page that would be sent back, uh, so processes, and then, let's see, step 3, server sends the file back after processing. So that's what, let's say, was on inside the file. So then, let's see. So then we go send file back. And let's say, shape. Alright, this is, let's say, the visual web page. So yeah, they'll see the hello, and then the source code will literally just be hello. In this case, no HTML because I didn't throw that. That's just be adding more typing, stuff like that, but you get the idea. This piece of code here will not be seen in that source code file. And that's what backend's about. I'm gonna make several clips to make this video for you. But this is step one. So yeah, with the advantages, I mean, there's many things. Like you interact with databases. I can send SQL into MySQL or whatever other database. It doesn't. It's not dependent like that. They don't go. They're not hand in hand as far as requirements. But you can think of the advantages. This is security because the user, the end client, will never see any coding that you did, on the server before what they get to see. Like that's how, uh, social media websites like emailing, messaging systems, chat rooms, all that. Well, chat rooms a little different, but yeah. So you would like, let's say you got a social website, or whatever. I've made one before. You log in. The login is a HTML input form. You hit the button, and then you have a script that processes all of the info going in. Like, I mean, obviously, first you got to pull it out of the fields, and then you start assigning it to variables, and then you can manipulate it from there. Like, run the SQL. Like, does this username and this first exist, and if so, does it match with the password variable? And then whether or not you send back, confirmation. And in that case, you would set a cookie that says basically, yeah, they're a user, they're active, whatever. And then from that, you would then display the logged in as like the login look of the page. And that all happens server side because, they request, let's say the home page after they logged in. This will see that cookie, and then it will spit back, the menu for as though they're logged in, like their profile, their inbox, that kind of stuff. As far as messages go, you'd send a message, you would add the message to a database of emails, and then to view them, you would search for all, the SQL syntax would be like look for where this name equals that user, and then just put in a for loop or loop, whatever, displaying each individual email, or at least a link to them, or, yeah, I'm getting way too off topic here. But yeah, so that's the gist of how PHP works. Uh, uh, it has nothing to do with the jQuery code you see me use. That is where your argument should be, is that because that's what React is doing. It's just, the same element as not MySQL, jQuery. Sorry, I was checking my phone. And the reason I know jQuery is just because it was taught at the end of my JavaScript class. Because JavaScript, it's just like HTML. There's not really a lot to it. And then the advanced stuff would be learning the different JavaScript libraries out there, and I guess asynchronous, which, trust me, I didn't pay attention for. It was like over my head. I could pick up my book or Google it and do it within seconds. I'm getting messages on my phone while I'm trying to talk. That stupid Tinder. keeps blowing up my phone for sales. It's like, get the hint. I'm not gonna buy your shit, right? But yeah, for the next step, I'm gonna show you some actual PHP code. That's why I'm making this into clips because I gotta pull up the server and see. It's not like I don't trust you with the. I mean, there are keys. Let's call them like my password, username, and password. That that's how you interact with the database. You gotta still put in code, PHP wise, your credentials to access the database. The fun part about that though is you can put the database on a different server. So that's another add an extra step of security if the server's not locally on the same machine. But yeah, that's more like an internal networking setup thing, where the server will go communicate with the other server, and it would send it back the request, and then the server, would send the web page or whatever. But I've done stuff like that, and I've done, uh, remember log and chat room little mini projects, and that's as far as programming. I mean, you get your components. It's just laying things in, out on a window. But yeah, basically you take the input just like you would on a web page form and login, and you would send it to the server from the client. Same thing happens. It'll see whatever port you assigned it to. It would, then on your server side software, it would, the server itself would then send it to that server software you made. It would go make the request to the database program, and then see if that exists or checks out. Goes back up the we're talking layers of operation here. I don't know if you know that term. You should look into it. It's good for troubleshooting on whether it's networking or technical. But that's more of a technician side of things. But yeah, it's always good to know layer of operations because that can give you a little insight of programming, just like what's going on here. You start with the physical layer, which is the actual Ethernet cable. Then you get the network layer, which is when it goes inside the machine. I think the next one's the protocol layer. I mean, it's been a minute for me, but protocol-wise, you're talking about UDP versus TCP. Datagrams versus packets, and then it goes working its way, and then at the top is the application layer, which is what we're seeing in front here. That's above the operating system. I think operating system's below it. I think there's 7 layers. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna cut this for now. I'm gonna go pull up some log into the server, pull up some files to see which ones are get some heavy code I could show you, like not just like one line like this, but something like paragraphs worth or internet intertwined within HTML2, because then you'll see how messy it looks on my end compared to what you look at when it's the source file at the end, which clearly does not display any of the PHP. Yeah. Like let's say I want to display the date. So we got this echo command, and then maybe I do like date, and then yeah, done. Well then it's gonna be like, God, that looks ugly. My bad. I actually treated it as though it would overlight it. So then this would display whatever. May, let's say it's 15, 2000. So yeah, see how that would that would tag on that to that up there, and you would never see this code. It's just this is concatenation. I know that's a weird word, but it is a programming term. It's when, let's say you had like input where you took somebody's name in a program and then you wanted to regurgitate it back. I mean, you'd see this sort of syntax where it'd be like this in the string portion, then you would concatenate it with this, and instead of a function here, we might display a variable. I mean, that's the real way you do it. Like, I wouldn't I don't even know if this is legit that you could throw the function in there, that string like that, but you'd make a function like, uh, PHP's functions start with a dollar sign and then be like date, yeah. It'd be like that, and then instead of having that, you would just have, date. Oh, I need another cup of coffee, yeah. And it would display the same thing pretty much. but it would be in a variable form at that point. But all right, yeah. So I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna check out what files I got, and then I'll clip it onto this. By the way, that Windows 10 and 11 come with the free video editing program. I think it's called Clipping or something like that. I just looked into it the other day because despite I have Adobe's Premiere Elements from an older like laptop I got a lot like 10 years ago, it's outdated, and even though I could use it, it does not like 4K. So it's a mess. You try to like mess with the clipping out frames. All right, I'm rambling. See you in a second. All right, I just pulled up two. That'll do. Okay, this is the first one. Clearly you got your opening tags and closing tags, commenting, just yeah, little notes. But so yeah, what I'm doing in this script is first I'm getting the user's IP. This is a IP redirect, for security for my web page to keep hackers off and people. I had a stalker years ago, and I took extreme measures to stop him from viewing my content in general. Even though that was a long time ago, I don't. He's a wacko. I don't trust him. But anyway, so yeah, I'm using the this function here to get the remote address, which is the IP, uh, and this is all going on in that PHP program. The Apache won't be processing any of this. As I said, when it comes in, it sees it's that type of file. Well, it sees it's on that port for starters, the operating system, and then it sends it over to Apache, and then from there Apache sees it's a PHP file, and then it sends it to the PHP program itself. And from there, that's what processes or phrases or whatever they call it, the code. But yeah, so yeah, I'm storing it in a variable, and then over here, I'm setting up specific like groups of blocks that I think that might have been my old IP setup internally. But yeah, we'll get back to that. But yeah, I'm storing this syntax into that variable. And over here we get an array with every IP that I identified as hostile. Uh, that's obviously that. So yeah, that's this array over here. Now here's where the conditioning starts. I don't know what I was gonna. I guess I wanted to do a counter. But yeah, that's counting how many are in the array. But so here we go. It's another conditional, well, the only conditional. But the if this is the function that tests for is it in the array? It's got two parameters. It first takes the IP that it got from up here as the first, and then it checks with the band array over here. And then it's if it's true, it's in that either that band array. It then triggers the change their header in their browser, and then it's whatever you set the location to. It's that meaning yeah. But I mean this script, I could actually pull it up. Hold on. I need to put drops in my eyes. Well, I can't see. Oh, there it is. But yeah, okay. So this is what the homepage source code looks like. I mean, you've seen this aspect, but when you did not see these at all. I mean, you probably yeah, you saw the comment here. But this would all be blank because, as I said, when it gets processed, and spewed back to Apache, that's done its role. It's not there anymore. But yeah, it's directly at the start of my file load for the home screen. So this will trigger. It'll go through its stuff, and then if they don't check out, then it won't go process the rest. It'll go trigger the redirect and send them over to Google. Let's see, anything else here to point out real quick? Yeah, this is old jQuery stuff. Let's talk about messy. Yeah, this is a little bit advanced. I don't have it active right now because that actually involves software that I created on the server to do a web-based chat room. And I got it working. It's just basically the state of the server right now. The laptop, um, it was messing up. I reinstalled everything just to have it running for now, and it's kind of in a limbo state where not everything's active or installed because I'm trying to get the actual server build to work, which I believe I know what's wrong with it. It's just like how am I gonna solve it in a matter of money? All right, moving down now. What else do we got here? Oh yeah, this is a little fun, with the date. So yeah, you got the. I guess we could pull it up for appearances. So yeah, that what you're seeing is up here, and as you can see, where was it? You got regular. Oh, here it is. So since this image does not exist, this is how HTML works. I don't know if you know this. When you do an image and if it doesn't exist, you can display alt text. So then you see the hex that we just saw there, that's there. And then PHP code, I'm getting, the date. Oh, I guess I don't need to put it, yeah, okay. That answered that. No plus, no equaling, yeah. I'm out of practices. I haven't, done any coding or even played guitar in like over a year or two, ever since the teeth and everything. But yeah, if you want to go to, right click on the web page and, view source, yeah, as you can see, the PHP is not up here. Uh, Scroll down. And as you can see here, yeah, it's displaying, let's put them side by side. So yeah, as you can see, you get the alt and it starts with the hex, but then you get the PHP over there, and then it does its thing. It gets the system date of the server, and then it spews it back, and then it just plops it down right there. That, in a nutshell, is how PHP works. And let's see, what else can we go on to? Oh yeah, no, I got something better to show you of the database nature, but again, I did it down here for the footer, display to keep, regurgitating out the current date rather than I mean, I don't even have Photoshop. I told you, I have a dozen. For years I've been messing with that, making abstract art, making the headers and logos and stuff for everything that I've made. But so yeah, in this case that's the footer. But okay, what was the? Okay, so this is my yeah, okay, yeah. So this is my IP to database script. So this is the script I use to collect what they call the hits, like a hit counter. You could use that for after you do all this. But so yeah, you view a web page, um, and this script is attached. I think. Yeah, let me look again. Sometimes I don't use these scripts. Sometimes I do. And I mean, yeah, if I have it on every page, it's not going to differentiate. I'd have to add a little bit more code to be able to be like, yeah. But yeah, that's over here. And so they view the page just like before. You get the we'll get to this in a second. Uh, well, all right. So keys, that's where my database username and password is. You wouldn't be able to, if you know that the name of that file now. But if you went to go pull that file up on a browser, you wouldn't. You'd see a blank page because, as I told you, how PHP works. The next one is can't remember if that's the program or the like. No, that's the program. So let me check something real quick. Okay, no, that's some code that came with the program. It's not fresh in my memory. I'm not gonna do it. Basically, I found a program on Linux that you could take the IP and then figure out geographically in the world what location it's at. And that's, I'll get to that. We'll get that into the code with that. So here is where I start forming the database connection. That's why I called it con for connection. So it's new. So yeah, I'm calling the MySQL function. As you can see, my credentials, which database I want to go to, etc. I can't remember what I was doing for here. I think I was counting what the feedback outcome was of that. So I honestly don't remember what's going on for this, but yeah. Globally, it's I think I'm pulling for how do I explain globally? It has to do with that's a big topic. I don't feel like getting into. It's like a upper layer. Like if like we had the other file calling this, the index PHP is calling this file or the other one here. Oop, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna save. But yeah, so this file called this file, and in order to access anything I set up here for PHP, that's where the global comes in here. Um, and I'm sure at some point you'll learn more about global parameters or scope. That's the word. Global scope, or scope in general, and then using the global or whatever equivalent for the language you're using is. I have to use. You either pass them into with the parameter in a function, or yeah, you gotta access them like that. I mean, I deal with that in Unity with games as well. Okay, so moving on. Again, I'm getting the user's IP, which honestly, this is redundant now that I mentioned the other thing because if I call this script first, that'll be stored in this IP. Oh no, maybe not because it's a subscript or whatever you want to consider it. Okay, so we got the array getting set up again, and here's where I start calling the program that does the geolocation. So the function that comes with is this geoip open. In the parameter here, we have me calling the actual program on Linux. So that's something you can't do. That's what I'm trying to also describe with a front end language. So this is literally as though I pulled up command prompt and was like IP. I mean, that has nothing to do with this, but you see what I'm saying? Like it's like from a web page side, I just sent command or command to the prompt. In Linux case, it's called terminal. It's called terminal. But yeah, that's what's going on here. And I think this is the function that I'm trying to call to act upon. I can't remember. But yeah, here's where I start divvying it up. I use this function to get the country code by address. That's the IP we caught. That's the, yeah, this one over here. Excuse me. And that'll determine based on the this program's data, whatever, stored in the country. Then I'm collecting time and date for record. Oh, the complex codes that expressions are an entire chapter in all languages. I don't want to get into that, but that's what's going on here. And then I'm looking for a match in the expression. But okay, so here's the query, another matching function from PHP, and this to neglect because this is going to return true. And then if it comes true, then it fires. But if I'm putting that there, it's to neglect it, or whatever the damn word is I'm trying to say. Got more paraphrasing there. And then that IP variable, the other adding condition, so on. Okay, so here's what the query looks like. If you've ever interacted with a database, it's not hard to do. It's just its own little topic. You get the query is the code that you send to the database to retrieve information or alter it, you know, etc. So I'm going with, and in this case, as you can see, we set it as a string because at the PHP level, it's not doing any of the actual code. But yeah, this is it going in. This is me preparing the variable to hold the query. So yeah, hold on. So yeah, this is where we get the MySQL language stuff. Insert into, this is the database. Oh no, this is the actual. Uh, we're already connected to the database elsewhere, but this is the table itself because the databases have multiple tables. But yeah, we're sending in, inserting into a fresh record, the IP, the country, the date, and the time. And obviously, over here, well, those are the fields in my bad. Those are the columns, the fields, or the columns, record, whatever, inside the database. While this portion, values, is what we're passing in to put into those boxes. And as you can see, they're PHP, variables. But yeah, so the PHP itself is gonna set the variables, and then so it'll have whatever's up here. Uh, it actually in the code, the string itself, because this is a whole string line. There's nothing really anything going on here other than there's a string being set up. And then yeah, there's where this goes down. So yeah, you take your connection, and this is how we do a function, an act, whatever. I can't remember how to express that, but yeah. So it's the connection. Um, I think this is how we call the functions for that connection. Yeah, that I think is a better way to express it. Because yeah, this connection we formed, and it's like, well, we're gonna take what that connection from up there, and we're gonna do this function of that connection class, and we're sending in that query that we just set up prior. So that's to enter it. And then, yeah, here down here, a number of rows, we're setting, well, I was preparing, I guess, a counter if I ever wanted to, like, see how many, you know, page visits we've got and all that. And then just with all proper coding when it comes to connections and stuff, you always end your code making sure that you close off the connection just for cleanliness. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's what's going on with PHP. I gave you, I guess, like a taste of the different things you could do with it. Like, you can't, the user can't see your code, so it's a security layer right there. Yeah, it interacts with the database, which I showed you what you could do with the database. Just as a tidbit, showed you how it's nested in with regular HTML and everything else going on. And yeah, that's React doesn't have anything to do with that. React would be doing everything. Fucking bug in my face. Anything I'm doing with. Oh, sweet! I got the mosquito. The other bug was like a fruit gnat or some shit. All right, anyway, my bad. So yeah, front end could probably replace. I mean, this area is all basic Java, and yeah, then I load the libraries. jQuery, Bootstrap is. I don't know if you heard of that one, but I started making the server homepage responsive because I did use this template in one of my design classes, and the teacher, as a freebie, hooked us up with the files so that we could use them for our own. But yeah, I have basically template files to make a responsive page. It's just a lot of work, but what I ran into trying to implement it is it just adds a whole bunch of BS like CSS files, and that just ruined my web page because it's kind of overriding mine, and it's just sloppy. But that's why the drop down menu is broken and other things on the website right now. But yeah, moving on. Okay, so yeah, get the jQuery going on here. Document ready. That means it's preparing all the code so everything can be attached to whatever it has to before it's spewed out on the web page. Like before, let's pull it up real quick. So yeah, I have a fade set. So yeah, you see the fade, but before the fade even happened, it's got all this already loaded up, into their variables and stuff, so everything functions as it should be. That's the fade right there. I used to display the news place first, but yeah. So for certain areas, I just make a clicky that puts Well, that's what's going on here. So I'm making the different sections into variables. Let's see. That's not applied here. Same going on. This case. Oh, I set this up, but then I assigned it to its own file. I mean, there's some cases where that's preferred. I don't feel like getting into that right now, but so yeah, these are the clicking functions. So like, when you click on we'll get down to the menu to show you what's going on, but that's assigned to the different links or menu buttons down below. I'm calling the area of the page that I named display. I'm changing the CSS up, and then I'm displaying, this in this case, it's the individual. I'm assigned an individual file for the section. Here's one where I'm loading some PHP, content that's going to be involving input forms, and then it gets spewed over to a processing form that they don't see, and then after that runs, it sends them to your message is sent kind of a page. Let's see, keep going. Same thing going on here, just adding a fade and stuff. Well, I'm hiding the page first, and then I'm triggering it to fade in. But yeah, okay, so this is the variable ones that I set above. This is the buttons named that, then on click, same thing. That area, some CSS change, because I had some issues there. Target the display area again, and then HTML, and then I'm throwing in that file, the that variable from above. I didn't mean to get into talking about the JavaScript, so you can stop here if you want, but I'm gonna just keep going with it. This is the chat room program I was setting up. So I'm loading. Oh, okay, so I believe I'm changing the header of the file, and then upon doing that, it sees that I'm trying to access the port I assigned the chat room to on the operating system level, or the Apache would see that, then see the port, then it would be like there. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, it sees the port that I put on there. It's assigned to my software that I have made and put on the server, and then yeah, then it starts displaying it. So down here, let's go over that. So yeah, I set the ID for news, which is how I, access it above in the JavaScript. That's all self-explanatory here. This is all broken right now. But yeah, that's in a nutshell the difference. And just a little tidbit, a little bit more. If you ever do make an input, okay, so golden rule in general, anything, whether it's a video game or any non-internet software or taking a forum input, you always check data in user input, no matter what the type of program it is, because that's where everything can be hacked or broken. Like when it's a video game, let's say it's like you give them several choices where they got to hit like 1 through 3 for the different options, and they put a 4. Well, that's gonna throw everything in a loop because the code doesn't know what to do with the 4. That's a really weak scenario, but in the case of a web page, like logging in or uh, signing up for a website, that kind of stuff, they could put in the the SQL syntax. What was going on with the what's that? Yeah, this one. Like yeah, like it's a bad example, but yeah, they could when you have an input field, just a blank area where they type in, and then they could type in like syntax SQL wise that will break the code. Like it'll display stuff that just because they used like an escape character and then it escaped the code, and then anything at that point in the code file onward will be regular text. And then yeah, then they get to see all that hidden stuff, including the PHP, because at that point the PHP will like stop because they put in an end code or an end character where it's like, okay, this is done, we're sending it back, and then all the code on that back would be displayed. It'd be it'd be nestled in here, just wherever the code breaks, or it'd be up here. Let's just say, yeah. So then wherever the code broke in there would be displayed up here, and then the rest of the web page would be displayed down below, well, broken. But yeah, you get the idea.